Hey there chefs, welcome to Valentine's Day at UB Chef. So now you've got your box, it will have all turned up for you. We're going to shortly get cooking, but we're going to take you through right from the bread. This is our treacle sourdough with salted butter. Bread's going to go in the oven for 10 minutes, just until it's nice and crisped up. Then serve the butter. Then we've got our lovely little crumpet, pastrami cured trout, how about that? Little creme fraiche on the top, dill, lemon, lovely. Then we're moving on to our bruschetta, that's our vegetarian starter, salt baked beetroots, lovely bit of balsamic on the top. Two main courses, we've got the beef, ribeye of beef, lovely aged grass-fed beef with a Béarnaise butter, the arancini with squash, little those tempura sage leaves on the top, and then our dessert. Finishing off, white chocolate mousse, lovely little rhubarb jelly on the top, champagne, gingerbread, that's it. Your perfect Valentine's meal coming up, hope you enjoy it. We're going to start off this week's menu with our weekly bake. It's a lovely sourdough, house sourdough, with a little bit of black treacle going through there. That's going to go in the oven, in the paper, for about 8 to 10 minutes or until it's nice and hot. And then here, at the same time, you want to get your butter out. So this is just a whipped salted butter. There you go, all piped, lovely. Let's just get a little bit of extra molten salt. It's already got some on there, but I just like a nice little crunch. Let's get some of that on the top, and then very, very carefully onto your plate. Let that soften up. Have your dish ready, a little bit of barley or a little bit of something just to sit your bread on. This is going in the oven now, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes to slice away. So just undoing my sourdough. That treacle hits you as you unwrap it. Oh, delicious. And then I've got my butter all softened, I've got my dish ready to go. Serrated knife, really, really important. Hand on the top, and then slice away. Put a little cloth between your hand and the bread if it's a little too warm for you. But this way, nice and safe. And you can see those lines going through the bread. There we go, see that? Just look at that lovely crumb. You've got all that little dark patches where we've got the treacle going through it. Let's just get that all in our dish, and we are ready to start off our menu. Hope you enjoy. So, here we are with our starter on our Valentine's dish. I've got my herb crumpet, that's just been in the oven about 2 to 3 minutes. It's literally just to warm it. Tiny bit of rapeseed oil just on the top, and then a little bit of seasoning. There we go, that's all ready. Let that kind of sit there just for a few minutes to cool down slightly. Then unwrap your cucumber. So in there you see you've got a little cucumber salad, some fresh dill, tiny bit of pink peppercorn, and in here a little magic dressing. This is a lemon and rapeseed oil dressing, just in there. Give it a little shake. Slice off a corner, like so, and then just put a little bit, you don't need too much, just a little bit of dressing into the cucumber. Give it a nice stir, and that dressing is all seasoned, so you don't need any more seasoning than that. Lovely. Right, then we'll take our crumpet, and I'm going to start building up a little bit of cucumber on there. And ideally when you do this, just fold the cucumber over in places, just kind of like bend them over, and then we're gonna start getting some good height. Get some of the pieces of dill in there as well. Take your time, make it look extra special. There we go. And then shortly we're going to get our pastrami trout out. So, really taking my time here, folding those pieces of cucumber under. I'll leave a couple for the top. Next bit, let's get our pastrami out. So, slice open your bag. A piece of naughty cucumber just falling off there. Slice open your bag. There you've got super bright orange pieces of pastrami, and again, you know, work nice and delicate. Just fold some of those pieces over and sit them on top. Remember, we've saved that little bit of cucumber, so don't worry if you're covering up all that green just on the top at the moment. And really, yeah, we put quite a lot in the bag. You don't have to put it all on. But just get that nice and built up. So almost done there. I'll go back for one more slice. Like so. There we go. See that all looking good. Another piece of cucumber on the top. Bit of dill. And then we'll be shortly ready to put our creme fraiche on there. So nice pieces of dill, all to finish. Creme fraiche time. Cut off corner of a bag as usual. Just gather that bag up. You can do a little tester pipe on your board, and then some nice pipings of the creme fraiche in there, like so. So when you got to that stage, all looking lovely, let's get it onto our plate. And then what I suggest, just to finish, I'm going to get that dish. I'm going to pour some of my remaining lemon dressing out, give it a little stir, and then just some very little droplets, small droplets, sorry, of that lemon dressing around, like so. There you go. Super simple starter of that pastrami trout crumpet. Hope it gets your meal off to a lovely start. Onto our bruschetta starter now. Let's open up our beetroots. My bruschetta is already in the oven, just in the paper. Put it in the oven for about 5 minutes. It won't dry out in the paper just until it's heated up. And then your beetroots, you see what we've got there? All cooked, salt baked these are. We've got some candy ones, we've got golden, and then we've got the red. But we send you the red just separated so that they don't completely discolour everything when it arrives to you. So let's get the red ones, sorry, in there. And then what we'll do, a little bit of rapeseed oil just on the top. And they are salt baked, but they will still benefit from just a tiny little bit more on the top. Give it a little stir just to make sure they're all coated. That's all ready. Then let's get our bruschetta out. There it is, you see, so it's all nicely wrapped up in the paper. Let's unwrap it. And then what we're going to do, we're going to build this bruschetta on the board. And that will ensure that you have a lovely, nicely presented bruschetta and you don't get the beetroots on your plate. So let's start getting the beetroots. Let's place those all the way across. Have some so that you almost kind of like go over the edge of the bruschetta. That gives it a lovely height. Try and mix the beetroots up a bit so you've got all different colours going on. There we go, looking beautiful already. Then, next we've got our goat's cheese. So this is green barn goat's cheese. Just give it a little mix in the piping bag, make sure it's all ready to go. And then I'm gonna cut my piping bag just at the top. Basically grip it in one hand, like that, at the end, and then use the other hand or your finger just to guide it. So pipe, see I'm just piping some nice piles of that goat's cheese. There we go, simple isn't it? Keep going, a little bit more. I love this goat's cheese because it's not too powerful. And then what will go next is pesto. Again, this is rocket pesto. Give it a little stir, as it were, in the bag. Cut off corner. And then again, you can spoon it out of the bag if you prefer. I just think this is nice and easy. Fold it over, and again we're gonna some nice little pipings of that, almost in the gaps where you haven't put the goat's cheese. Remember, all of these bags that we use, they go straight in the bin because they're all compostable, so nice and kind to the planet. There we go, nice bit of goat's cheese. And then what we'll do take a spatula onto your plate. Finally, balsamic again, a little mix, cut off the end, not too much, you just want a nice thin little cut. Fold the bag over, do a little tester just on your board, and then here we go. So keep it all central in some places, over in others. Look at that, looking lovely. Touch of rapeseed oil. There we go. A lovely restaurant beetroot bruschetta in your home. Here's our Valentine's ribeye main course for you now. So here you've got your lovely piece of ribeye. This has been already seared, so you don't have to have your kitchen full of smoke. It's got a little bit of thyme in there. What you need to do, just take a knife or a pair of scissors, cut through, and then take it out. Take all the thyme as well. Make sure you kind of almost like roast that with the thyme. Extra flavour on there. So then that beef is going to go in the oven about 12 to 14 minutes. If you want it more well done, give it another 4 or 5 minutes. Most importantly, when you serve it, rest it for about 4 to 5 minutes ideally. It's also got one little piece of string around it, pair of scissors, cut that off, no problem at all. Let's get that in the oven now. All your cooking temperatures are on the recipe cards as well. Then here we've got pomana, so it's just a layered potato. We're going to keep the lid off of that and we're going to bake that for about 10 minutes or so, 8 to 10, won't take too long. So that's going to be lid off. And then the garnish is Béarnaise butter, so all the flavours of like a Béarnaise sauce, just in that. And then when we serve it, we're going to put the butter on top of the ribeye. I'm going to give it a very quick flash under the grill onto my plate. Spinach puree and a little roasted red wine sauce. Both of those, if you like, you can just go into a pan of scalding water, take it off the heat, put a lid on, they'll be fine, or into some little pans if you prefer. So we'll be back in about 14 to 16 minutes. We're going to get that beef plated up for a lovely Valentine's main course. Okay, our beef has been resting now, just a few minutes. Take off the string, so scissors or a knife, let's just pull it. That just keeps it together as it's cooking. And just remove that thyme. So you've got your beef, then your Béarnaise butter. Just undo that. Nice and careful. Keep that in the fridge until sort of the last second when you need it. And undo the butter, like so. Get a little palette knife or something, a little spatula. Put the butter on top. Then what we're going to do is just take that tray just under the grill, not too long. In the meantime, get your potato, that's our little pomana, onto the plate. And what I'm looking for here with the butter, it's just starting to melt. You want that butter just starting to ooze over the beef, but it should get to the table still with the butter intact. There you go, you can just see that starting to melt. Doesn't that look very, very nice? So, take your beef, and just kind of carefully lift it up, give it a little drain, take any of that thyme out that's under there, little drain of any of the juices onto your plate, like so. You can see that butter, it's all starting to melt now. That's worked nice and quick. Spinach puree, I'll just empty that into a pan for ease. Nice spoon of that silky spinach. And then back finally red wine sauce. A little bit on top of our pomana, which is just thinly layered potato basically. A little bit of sauce. And then straight to the table. Extra sauce, serve it on the table if you prefer. I'm looking forward to tucking into this lovely piece of ribeye. Here we are with our squash arancini main course, vegetarian main course. Arancini here, you get 3 of those. Make sure you, before you bake this, just take out your sage tempura. There you go, lovely pieces of sage. They can get a little flash in the oven if you prefer, just at the end for about a minute, that's all they'll need. Make sure you take them out of the oven. So that is now going to go in for about 8 to 10 minutes. Make sure you don't cook them any longer because they will pop. Then all the lovely risotto rice will come out. And then just going to show you my garnish. Rainbow chard in here, which has all been blanched. It's got some sage in there, a little bit of butter. Keep the lid on, about 6 to 8 minutes in the oven. Very, very simple. We've got our sage, little squash puree just in here. You can put that in a pan or just simply drop that sachet into the pan of water, just at the side, really, really simple. And then we've got some nice little pickled shimizu mushrooms to add a lovely little bit of acidity on the top. Back soon to finish off. My arancini are all out of the oven now, there they are. A little bit of molten salt just on the top. And then as you take the lid off the chard, look at that, you just take those sage leaves out, which we baked it with, but you get that beautiful flavour. You've got the sage in there, you've got butter, really, really nice. Our sage leaves come out of the oven 1 minute just to re-crispen them. They're all good. Let's cut off edge of a bag. This is our squash puree, nice and sweet. And then we're just going to spoon pipe all of that puree into the centre of the plate. Get a spoon, and just back of a spoon, so you spin the plate, and then you can get that into a nice circle, like so. Go back to our chard. Now we have kind of just steamed this chard, so it should be well drained already, but if it isn't, if there's a little bit of water in the bottom, try and like not spoon that onto your plate, because otherwise you're going to dilute all of the sauce. But get those nice leaves of chard. It's just rainbow chard, so you've got golden in there, like bright yellow colour. You've got the red chard and then the white as well. Little batons of the actual stem from the chard leaves. Wonderful crunch. And then we're just going to finish off those. Then let's go for our arancini. Let's sit them on the top, like so. One of my favourites, this is. Delicious seasonal flavours. Finish off now. Pickled mushrooms, these are shimizu mushrooms. Let's put a few on the top. And then just a few scattered around. Sweet squash puree, pickled shimizu, rich risotto in the centre. What more could you want? There you go. And then finally, let's get some of those little sage tempuras. Just add a brilliant little note to finish on. There we go. That's it. Straight to the table. Can't wait to taste this one. This is butternut squash arancini. So finishing off the Valentine's menu, we've got a white chocolate Delice just in here, a lovely little jelly on the top of rhubarb and champagne, gingerbread base in the bottom, then we've got poached rhubarb, and we've got some little pieces of gingerbread just there. So let's finish this off. Cut open your poached pieces of rhubarb, and that's with the syrup as well. These have just been poached, there's a little bit of bite to them, but empty them all into your dish, makes it easier to serve up. My Delice has been out of the fridge about 10 minutes or so. I'm just going to flash it just under the grill. Very, very quick. Just like that. And look, you get that lovely sheen just on the top. Take your pieces of rhubarb. I'm going to cut them down just slightly just to get an even better presentation. So pieces rhubarb on the top. And then just kind of arrange them all the way around there. Like so. Get your pieces of gingerbread, just adding a nice little crunch. I'm just gonna place those all the way around. There we go. And then tiny little bit of a rhubarb syrup. So that's got rhubarb and champagne in it. All the way around. That's it. Nice and simple. Great way to finish off our Valentine's Day menu. Hope you really enjoy it, and we'll see you again soon.